There once was a little girl named Emily, with golden hair and a smile as bright as a sunbeam. Today, she and her mother, Mary, had set out on an adventure in a small fishing boat on the tranquil blue sea. The morning air was crisp and cool, and the gentle ocean breeze brushed against her face. Emily was so excited, for this was the first time she had gone fishing so far from shore. She held her new fishing rod tightly and tried to cast the bait into the water many times. The gentle rocking of the boat and the sound of the waves lapping against the hull made her feel buoyant and carefree. Her mother, Mary, sat quietly beside her, watching her daughter with a loving gaze. After Emily waited for a while without getting a single bite, her face began to show a hint of disappointment. "Mom, I don't think there are any fish here," Emily said with a deflated sigh. Mary turned, gently took her daughter's hand, and smiled at her. "Emily, you have to learn to be patient. Just like waiting for a fish. Sometimes the best things don't come right away," Mary said softly. Emily nodded, looked at the water again, and hoped that some kind of miracle would happen. Emily nodded, but her face remained downcast. She had waited for a long time, and her fishing rod was still motionless. She then turned to look around for something else that might catch her interest. In the distance, she looked up and saw a tall lighthouse standing on a small, rocky island. It was a sturdy structure that stood there, as if it were all alone in the middle of the sea. "Mom, what does that lighthouse do?" Emily asked her mother with a curious expression. Mary looked in that direction as well and explained, "A lighthouse is a guide for large ships in the dark of night. When storms rage and the sky is filled with dark clouds, its light shines brightly to show the way so the ships don't get lost." Mary turned and gently took Emily's hand again, saying, "It is a symbol of hope, always helping travelers find their way back home, no matter how far away they are." Emily thought to herself, "That lighthouse is truly amazing." Her mother's explanation made her feel better. She gripped her fishing rod tighter and felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer thinking about catching fish, but about continuing her adventure. Emily looked at the surface of the water with renewed focus, not with the boredom from before, but with an expression full of hope. She waited quietly, paying close attention to the movements of her fishing line. Suddenly, she felt something heavy pulling her fishing line with great force, so much so that the rod bent almost to its breaking point. "Mom, I think I've caught a big fish," she shouted excitedly, her voice echoing across the sea. Mary rushed to her aid. "Hold on tight, honey! We'll pull it in together." Emily pulled on the line with all her might. Her small hands gripped the rod tightly, while Mary helped stabilize it. They both pulled hard, and whatever was at the end of the line seemed to be struggling against them. After a long struggle, the object attached to the line finally emerged from the water. When it surfaced, they were both extremely surprised. It was not a fish as they had expected, but an old glass bottle covered in moss, with a rolled-up paper letter inside. Emily and Mary looked at the bottle with great excitement, wondering where it came from and what was inside. Their adventure had just begun. Emily and Mary held the old glass bottle in their hands. Mary carefully peeled the moss off the bottle, and then she gently pulled out and unrolled the letter. It was a piece of old yellowed paper with some faded letters, but it was still legible. The letter was written by an old sailor from many years ago. He described his love for the sea and his hope that someone would find his message and know that he had lived happily. It was a simple message, but it was full of profound meaning. Emily turned to look at her mother with tears of joy in her eyes. "Mom, we caught something more wonderful than a fish," she said. Mary hugged her tightly and whispered, "You're right, my darling. The most valuable thing we found today wasn't a fish, but a wonderful memory and a story that connects us to the past." When they turned to look at the lighthouse again, it seemed to be shining especially brightly just for them. In that moment, Emily realized that an adventure isn't just about catching a lot of fish. It's about discovering new things that give life meaning. That was the day Emily found both happiness and hope on her fishing trip. Moral lessons from A Tale of a Wonderful Fishing Trip. Patience is the key to success. Through Emily's experience of waiting patiently while fishing, the story teaches that good things in life don't always happen immediately. We must have patience to achieve what we want. True value is not in the result, but in the process. Emily learns that the joy and valuable experience she gains are more important than catching many fish. Sometimes an adventure leads us to unexpected discoveries. Hope always exists. The lighthouse in this story is a symbol of hope and guidance. It shows that even when we face difficulties or feel discouraged, there is always a light that can help guide us. Family bonds are a precious treasure. This story highlights the warm relationship between a mother and daughter. The mother's presence provides teaching, encouragement, and support to her child, making their adventure even more profound. In summary, this story teaches us to enjoy the moment, to be patient, and to look for the good things in life, even if they are not what we expected from the very beginning.